I don't know, just got my adrenaline going this. There's a guy, you probably haven't heard of him. Well, you might have heard of him because he's doing very well in historic racing now. Young Englishman, American, a bit of both really. Horatio Fitz-Simon, who, yeah, get around the name because it's a great name actually if you think about it. There's some good people called Horatio in the history of the world, and he started like most in karts, very quick in everything he's ever done. But because there's always this big brick wall of what you're going to do, how you make the big break into international motor racing, he's kind of gone into historic racing, and he's unbelievably quick and spectacular and really has a feel for the cars he's driving as well, and drives some great cars, from Lotus 22s to Lotus 26Rs, which is the lightweight Elan. I think this weekend he's driving a Ferrari 275 GTB at Hockenheim, and he'll be quick in it for sure. And most notably, a Brabham BT6 Formula Junior 63 car, which was actually run by Ian Walker Racing, the famous British race team of the time, driven by Paul Hawkins, and won at Rouen in 63, a round of the Formula Junior Championship, European Championship. Very nice car, one of the early Brabham Toronac cars, beautiful handling, 63 Formula Junior, quick car for its time. Anyway, he's been doing very well on that. And if you want to get to his website, I'll put the details in the description after this video. Horatio Fitz-Simon. He's got a video, an onboard of him at the Alton Park Gold Cup, which he starts last for whatever reason, some drama in qualifying. In other words, he's 33rd on the grid, and he wins the race on the last lap. It's the most incredible thing. Anyway, even better than that, I think, is a recent video he's put out of his onboard of a pole lap he got at Ricard recently in the BT6. And it was a new lap record as well, track record, I think they call it if it's the pole. And he won the race as well. And I'm going to show that in a second, but just as a quick intro, this is what he looks like in the 26R. I'm just saying a few words.
We moved to California when I was 2, and I was introduced to motor racing at this circuit at the Monterey Historics.
Now, as a build-up to what we're going to see in this Ricard lap, Paul Hawkins was, as I say, the original driver of that BT6 for Ian Walker Racing. And Paul was a tough Australian, an international. We never saw him as a local out in Australia in the 60s. He very quickly moved to Europe and did very well. Famous for, of course, putting a private Lotus 33 into the water in Monaco in 65 in the Grand Prix, but he survived that. But he was very quick when he was on it. And as I've been talking about him relatively recently, about his driving of Ford GT40 in 67, when he was up against Denny Hulme, and he won the Autosport GT Championship that year. Admittedly, the car was a little bit lighter than the Sid Taylor car, but Paul was really quick, have no doubt about that. And he came out to Australia in 68 in just out of the blue, really. It was a September meeting, Warwick Farm, and he suddenly appeared in a GT race in a Jackie Epstein owned. And Jackie Epstein was a good buddy of his and a car owner, former driver as well, actually. Lola T70 Mark 3B. So I just couldn't believe it. There was Paul Hawkins, and that's him in the jacket. So I took that picture of him. He's talking to Pete Gagan there, Ian Gagan. And there's the Lola T70 Mark 3B that he drove. He did very well in it too. Drove it beautifully, very polished. Sadly, he lost his life in 69 in a car like that, not actually that car. But you know, that's what happened in those days. Very sad. Anyway, Horatio got more and more interested when he was asked to drive this BT6, which is owned by a company called ART in the States, I believe. And he went onto eBay, and he actually found this picture on eBay of Paul Hawkins sitting in the BT6. And it's actually signed by Paul, as you can see there. Really nice, eh? So that was that. And now let's join. This is one lap of Ricard. I'm not going to talk over it. All you hear is the engine noise. This will give you a feel for what it was like in 63 when we had no aerodynamics on the car, pretty narrow tires. The cars were very light and jumping from bump to bump. Ricard required great skill, finesse, and car control. But overtaking was definitely possible. You didn't need anything to help you do your overtaking. And everything just seemed in proportion. They just seemed really nice. Obviously nice, manual gear change, heel and towing. And it's quite difficult sometimes to get a feel for what that was really like. And I think all of us can benefit. I don't want to in any way sound patronizing. I think all race fans can benefit by having a look at this, just to see what it was actually like for race drivers back in the 60s with no aero. And admittedly, this is a Formula Junior car, but you'll see from the lap that it is very quick. And you'll see how much energy that Horatio puts into the car and how well he drives it and how sideways he is everywhere. We get to the laps, the long Ricard lap, the Grand Prix circuit, and you go down the straight, there's a chicane, and then they go in towards Scene, the very, very fast right-hander. And he goes in, he just has a slight lift, and then the back end just comes out and he has a big oversteer slide. Absolutely brilliant. So I won't talk over it anymore. I won't talk about it anymore. I'll just let you watch it. But this lap begins as he comes out of the last corner and he's got a bit of opposite lock on straight away. So enjoy this. A lap of Ricard in a 1963 Formula Junior driven Brabham BT6, driven absolutely on the limit by Horatio Fitz-Simon. Isn't that brilliant? Do you see the oversteers? He went into Scene everywhere, really. I mean, just sliding the car. I can't think of any racing driver in the world, even current Formula One guys, who watching that wouldn't think, yeah, this is brilliant. It sums everything up about, well, obviously about that era, but also about, you can really see how a racing driver can work. A very good racing driver has to work in the cockpit of a car. And yeah, Max is doing similar things, but in much smaller degree, because everything is shrouded by downforce. All the same dynamics are in play. It's just that it's so much more visible with that. And Horatio, what a driver. For sure, this guy's got a future in, I don't know, going to win Le Mans and all, probably in that part of motorsport, I would imagine. I can't think of any decent team that wouldn't be on the phone to him right now. He's that good. But I just hope he never loses that touch with historic racing, because he's so good and he drives those cars so well. Just breathtaking, and I hope you enjoyed that. It was, and a big thanks to him as well for letting me use that video of the car. Really, really good.